when people meet you, do you get mistaken for other ethnicities? Like, do they think you're Greek or Turkish or?
Yes, like that's the first thing they comment. Like
They thought I was Indian, and a guy came at me and started talking to me in Indian.
Usually like Arab, sometimes Asian, sometimes Latin American, but usually it's like Colombia or Brazil.
So no one ever guesses that you're Mexican?
I have never ever gotten anybody guess Mexican.
How long have you been living in the UK?
For 10 years.
this November 2024, I just made my anniversary.
I've been living here for 5 years. I moved here when I was 8.
3 months, 2 years and 3 months.
Okay.
As a resident, I only have like 6 months.
How did you end up in London versus an American city?
I think for me it was because of university. I did my research and I really liked the universities in England, so it was easy for me to choose.
I got death threats from a cartel in Mexico, so we had to escape. And when I came to the country, I started living here as an asylum seeker. And now I am a resident by asylum, thanks to the grace of God. But it's a bless because I can have my family safe in here, everybody's safe, and everybody is happy.
I got married, and then we decided, because my partner at the time had a stable job in the UK, we decided it would be better for us to have a life in the UK. So I moved in here, and I've been here ever since.
What's it like being Mexican in the UK?
Being Mexican in the UK is quite a unique experience. I feel like because there is not a lot of Mexican people in the UK, people are quite curious about you and your culture. So it's definitely a different experience, I would say.
My overall experience, I would say, has been really, really good. Yes, it's been a great experience living here.
At the beginning, it's a little bit complicated. You need to learn everything, starting with the accent, because every area has a different accent. So you need to, almost like learning English again, you need to start, like, what do you mean with this? So it's quite cool, to be honest, to kind of learning a different slangs, the local slangs. And then when I come to London, it's completely different again. When I went to other parts of the UK, it's like starting all over again. But I think overall the experience is really good. I like it. I'm quite happy here. I'm still obviously very attached to my roots, which is in Mexico. But I really love embracing the British culture.
How difficult was it finding connections being brand new to the country?
The thing is that when you are an asylum seeker, you are tied from your hands because they don't allow you to work. They don't allow you they don't, even the money they give you £7.50 for each person a week. So it's difficult. It's difficult to adapt because you have no money.
How difficult is it finding connections being brand new to the country?
I think because I moved here when I was a bit younger, it was a little bit harder because I didn't really know where to look. But now that I'm a bit older, I think it's like as long as you visit like certain restaurants or like the shop like this, where you get to speak to people from different Latin American countries, I think it's a bit easier when you put yourself out there.
Was it hard making friends when you first came to England?
Yes, yeah. That's a part that I still struggle with. I'm not sure if that's because of my own ways or what, but I've really struggled more making friends with English people rather than Mexican. I found a lot of Mexicans, and we've made really good friendships, and I still have all my Mexican friends. But with English people, I realize it's a bit harder. I do have my friends from work and everything, but I feel that's more like business relationship. We're really not that friendship I have with Karen, for example, or any other Mexican friends.
Do you find the English are more reserved?
Yeah, and I think and don't get me wrong, my English friends I love them and they are great and everybody embraces me and they love me and everything. But I think to get that more deeper connection, I think we struggle, and I'm not sure if that's a language barrier or culture barrier, but it's like we have a great time, but then that's where it ends.
You don't feel that we're more reserved? Mexicans are more vibrant, more happy?
No, actually, British people, I found it very, very nice, actually.
Yeah.
They very kind. And at the end, like in everywhere, it's more good people than bad people, and that's a good thing,
Your accent has changed a lot.
Yes, it has. It's because I think mostly because I'm on a customer service job, and I tend to mimic accents just to make it easier for people to understand me over the phone.
When people meet you, do you get mistaken for other ethnicities? Like, do they think you're Greek or Turkish or?
Yes, like that's the first thing they comment. Like they just say, "Oh, I hear a slight accent. Where is that from?" Over the phone, I get the Scandinavian a lot, or Norwegian. I've been told Dutch, but I guess that's one thing over the phone. But when they see me, it's like, "Oh, where are you from originally?" And that's where it starts. Just say Mexico, and it's like, "Oh," the question begins.
In the airport, when I came here, they thought I was Indian. And a guy came at me and started talking to me in Indian language. And I said, no, I'm not from India. I'm from Mexico. And he kept talking to me in Indian. And I was like, no Indian. I have to show him my Mexican passport. And he went like, oh, it's okay. And I said, sorry. I even say sorry. I don't know why, but I even say sorry because I couldn't help him. He was maybe asking something about I don't know. I don't even know what he asked. No?
Yeah. So you've been mistaken for Indian?
Indian.
Anything else?
Only Indian.
What ethnicities do people usually mistake you for?
Usually like Arab, sometimes Asian, sometimes Latin American, but usually it's like Colombia or Brazil.
So no one ever guesses that you're Mexican?
I have never ever gotten anybody guess Mexican.
Has your culture at home changed since living in the UK?
By culture in my home.
Yeah, in your household.
No, in my house we're still Mexicans. We eat the same, We still we speak Spanish in my house. We do the same things. Obviously, we had to adapt, Like even now that I'm driving, I gotta get used to drive on the other side of the road. You know what I mean? That was difficult, but at the end it's the same, driving here and driving there.
Is your culture heavily Mexican at home, or is it becoming a bit diluted because there's a lack of Mexican culture around you?
I'm gonna say that I always try to mix it because I have a 6-year-old son, and mine is 8. Sorry, I don't know why I said it. He's 8, but I always try to teach him or to show him things from Mexico, trying to get him to like it, to know and all that. So I think I'm pretty much including always both. Some days I do cook full Mexican and sometimes I cook full English. So I'm trying to always mix it as much as I can. I always speak Spanish at home. So my husband only speaks English. So when he's around, it's both. I always try to do both as well. So when he's not around, then it's just Spanish.
So is your husband British?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, he's British. We met in Mexico.
Has your culture at home changed much since living in the UK?
I don't think so. I think I always try to include my culture into my home and to always celebrate and the food that we eat. So not much.
How much has your culture changed at home since living in England?
A lot. I try to keep my traditions for like Day of the Dead, my Mexican Christmas, Three Wise Men, all my traditions. I try to keep that and teach them to my son. And but culture wise, like I think it's becoming more Anglo Saxon based. Because I think that's just what happens. Well, yeah.
Would you rather live in the UK or America?
I think for this period of my lifetime, I really am enjoying the UK. I feel like the US is very close to home, so that's always an option. But it's nice to just experience different cultures. So for now, the UK.
But if you make me choose, I would choose London, to be honest, because I feel safer here than there. Because in America, you can buy a gun in everywhere. You just need to be American or legal, and you can buy a gun on in a gun army shop. And in here, obviously, it's evil as well because everywhere is evil. But I know that not everybody is gonna pull up a gun and shoot me, even if I get a struggle with somebody, you know.
Well, if I have to choose between America and England, I would probably say England. I already lived in America, and it was a okay experience, but I think I still prefer England.
Why would that be?
Um, I think it's just a preference. I already know what it's like to be in the US, and there is a lot of political reasons that I don't really like, and I don't know. I just don't feel like people keep saying about the American dream. I don't see it like that. I don't think there is such thing because you still have to work really hard.
When you see like American politics and the immigration conflicts and stuff, how does that make you feel living over here in England?
It 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 makes me feel comfortable that I'm in such an embracing country here. It's a bit of a two side story really because recent events have just brought the worst part of people, and I think they base their opinions on that. They don't really mean it because I found English people love variety, and they embrace everybody and love having people here. So compared to America, things I hear about people being racist to people or just wanting everybody out. It's weird. It just makes me feel secure being here.
How do you compare working in England versus Mexico?
I feel the opportunities in the UK, it's like it really your age doesn't matter, and that's a main point of like an advantage of living here. Age doesn't really matter when you start a new job. But in Mexico, I feel if you're over 30, you have no chance basically on finding a job or anything. Opportunities are non-existent basically at that age. Whereas in the UK, I think job opportunities are open for every age, and it doesn't really matter.
How tight knit are the Latin communities in England? Do you feel like there's a tight community where everyone's like together, or is it more divided?
I think I've had both experiences. I made like my own little community in where I live, and since we found each other, we just stuck to each other. It's grown every time with all the newbies coming in, and it's really good. But it also, I think, we found with bigger cities, for example, where there's already a community, if you are not part of the original people, it gets a bit harder to mix with them because I really don't know what that would be. I think, but it's once you find your people, it's really like you everybody sticks to each other.
In terms of the Mexican community, I personally haven't really met that many Mexican people in the UK. I feel like there isn't, from my knowledge, a large community of Mexican people, but there's definitely a large Latin community, so of different Latin American countries.
And would you say it's quite tight knit?
Yeah, I would say it is tight knit. I think there's a lot of events that are targeted towards the Latin community, and I think there's a lot of people who do attend those. So yeah, I would say it's tight knit.
I have met people that are very into, getting people together, or Mexicans, or even from other people, so other just Latin American people, and I think that's really nice. But I have come across other people that want absolutely nothing to do with Mexican people or Latin people. Like they just want to have their own community, part from a big group that we already have. So I think there is a lot of groups in here. There is a lot of people from many other Spanish-speaking countries that are here, and they do gather together, and they do come. They try to make the birthday parties like as we know it and things like that. So I think it all depends which part you are. Where I live, there is only a small, because we are very up north, and then London is a much bigger communities. So
In California, I've met a lot of Mexicans and Salvadorians that say that they don't always get along. Is that a thing in England?
Yes.
In England as well?
Yes. Yeah, I think it just depends on the person. I think I love meeting people everywhere really, and if I get along, well, even better.
Yeah.
But I do struggle to get along more with people, Latin American people that come here. I'm not really sure why, but I think it's probably because well, at least that's the impression that I've gotten before, that they're just trying to get like a diversity on their friendship. I don't know.
Well, it's never been like a division. The thing, like I already tell you, the nature of the human being is a sinful life. But then when you grow up, it depends on the family that you get as well, right? But if you grow up in a family that is full of Jesus and full of God, there's no divisions. We don't have difference. Like me and you were sisters. In God we're sisters. Sister and brother, sorry. But when you grow up in a place that is not full with the love of God, there is when the races come, when the division comes, because that's the job of the devil. That's the job of the enemy. Destroy, divide, burn, kill. But when you grow up in a house full of Jesus and God, we're sisters and brothers. It doesn't matter the color, the country. If you speak English, if you speak African, if you speak Chinese, we are humans. We are a creation of something bigger than us. I don't know if you get it.
Wise words. Wise words. Thank you for your time.